This is my $10,000 streaming/gaming setup. Every single day, I get countless questions with people asking how I was able to afford this. I'm 17 years old, and today I will share with you guys how I was able to pay for my setup 100% by myself to hopefully inspire you guys and give you a few ideas on how you can do this yourself. If you guys don't know me already, my name is Jaden. I go by Jaden's Random Reviews on YouTube and Jaden Coyer across all other platforms. Before the video starts, I'd like to give credit to FR Slush and Casp for the idea for this video. They're two close friends of mine, and I'll link their channels down below in the description. It all starts back when I was 7 years old. I received an allowance from ages 7 to 10. It was $12 a month, and of that $12, 6 of that went to long-term savings, and the other 6, 3 of it I tithed, and the other 3 I used to spend. Now, it wasn't a lot of money, but the whole purpose of this and why my dad gave me allowance was to teach me how to wisely use my money, and as a result, it taught me how to budget my money, and I applied a lot of the same rules that I used with my allowance when I got my first job. When I was 10 years old, I got my first job mowing my neighbor's lawn. It was a small yard, and I got paid around $20 to mow it around once a week. When the summer ended and I wasn't able to mow any lawns, I started to blow leaves for my next door neighbor. Blowing her driveway and her yard, I made about $10 every time, and I would do this around once or twice a week if it was needed. For that first year, the only person I worked with was my next door neighbor, and this was a great learning experience, especially because I was young and I was really able to focus on one person and really understand how to communicate with her, text her, for payments, let her know when I was going to be mowing her lawn and blowing her leaves. So it was a great learning experience. When I turned 11, I continued to work for my next door neighbor, but started to expand a little bit. There was a neighborhood email, and people would send out emails every single week asking if people could help them mow their lawns, blow leaves, pick up sticks, and pull weeds. My older brother and I would respond to these emails saying that we could do the work. We'd then communicate with our neighbors, go over to their house, and maybe assess what we were doing. If we were mowing yard, we'd maybe give them an estimate price of what we thought was fair, depending on how big their yard was. If we were pulling leaves or whatever, we'd do stuff by the hour, so it really all depended on what the job was. Since my brother and I worked together, we were able to get jobs done twice as fast, and we would get paid anywhere from around $20 to $30 and upwards of $40 to $50 depending on the workload. What would happen is when we got paid, they would hand the money to my older brother, and we would evenly split it up between each other. Over the year, my brother and I picked up a lot of jobs, pulling a lot of weeds, picking up sticks, blowing leaves in the fall, and mowing lawns in the summer. We would ride our bikes to the houses where we would do the work, one, because my older brother didn't have a license, and two, it was pretty close because my house to another neighbor's house wasn't really that far away, so we could just bike to it, get the work done, and then come back. There was one big project that my older brother and I did towards the end of the year, and we helped this guy move out of his house. We would move boxes, organize things in his garage, just clean up, get ready for the house to be sold, and over the course of that week, I made over $350. That next year, when I turned 12, I made the biggest purchase yet. I bought an iPod 6. I remember handing my dad $225 in cash, and I remember how accomplished I felt. My dad has always told me that if I wanted something, I had to work for it, and he would always say that work is a good thing. And I remember how satisfied I was. I was like, this is my own money, and this is a big purchase. With my iPod 6, I then started up my YouTube channel, Jaden's Random Reviews. I really had no idea what I was doing. I was just picking up stuff around my house that I could review, learning how to light my shots, film videos, and script. For that same year, I continued to work for my next door neighbor, picked up jobs around my neighborhood, and saved money from birthdays and Christmas. At the end of that year, right before I turned 13 for Christmas, all my brothers and I got a PS4. It's kind of an interesting story. One of my dad's coworkers was about to throw away his old PS4 because he didn't like the fan noise that it made, so my dad's like, I'll gladly take it. So he took it and gave it to all of us for a Christmas present. This is when I really started to enjoy playing video games. I was never allowed to play before that, and I would always play at my neighbors' houses, but I would take turns playing with my PS4s with my brother, and I really started to enjoy playing Fortnite. Later that year, I started to post a little bit more consistently on my YouTube channel, Jaden's Random Reviews, and I also started a separate YouTube channel streaming Fortnite from my PS4. I learned a lot from that. I was getting better with recording videos and setting up a better quality stream. I was continuing to work for my next door neighbor and picking up jobs around my neighborhood. When I turned 14, this is where things really started to change. My younger brother got very interested in building a PC. He would watch hundreds of YouTube videos, and I found this very interesting. One of our close friends who lived down the street had some leftover PC parts from a former build and gave it to my younger brother, and he built his first PC. This was a very old system. It could barely run Fortnite on low settings at like 30 FPS, but it was a great learning experience for my younger brother, and he really got to learn how to build a PC from start to finish and learn how to troubleshoot problems. I found this very interesting, from watching him build the actual PC to setting it all up. So I started off by building a mini setup. I bought a small monitor, which is now my vertical monitor, a mouse, keyboard, and a mouse pad, and I made a little mini setup on my kitchen desk in my kitchen, stretching an Ethernet cable from the family room to the kitchen desk. It was scuffed, but it worked. I couldn't find any pictures of this setup, but I continued to play with my mini setup in my kitchen till around the end of the year. Earlier on in that year, my older brother got a job. He wasn't able to do yard work with me anymore. I started picking up a few other jobs in my neighborhood with my younger brother, but when I turned 15, I quit doing yard work and started working at Chick-fil-A. Yard work got a little boring for me, and since I wasn't doing it with my older brother anymore, I wanted something new. I worked 3 days a week, totaling out to be around 14 hours a week. Now, by law, legally, I could only work 3 hours on weekdays and however many hours I wanted on weekends. I really started to enjoy my job, and another thing I enjoyed was the consistent income. I was able to budget my money a lot more consistently because I had a good idea of how much money I was making every 2 weeks when I would receive my paycheck. With the money that I had saved up from doing yard work in the past and now working at my job, it didn't take very long to finally be able to build my first setup. I'll throw up a few pictures on the screen of my first PC. I will say I really had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of handed the parts to my brother. He built it, and later on we realized a lot of the parts we picked weren't really that good. I was building in a micro ATX case, and it was very difficult to cable manage and fit a whole power supply in such a small case, but I learned a lot from that. But here's my first PC. It had a GTX 1060, a Ryzen 5 2600, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. I spent an extra $400 on a brand new 144 Hz monitor. I picked up a new mouse pad and keyboard and some RGB lights and some desk accessories, and everything totaled out to be around $1,500 for my first setup. During this time, I really started to take streaming a little bit more seriously. I saved up some more money, bought a webcam and a mic to really enhance the quality of my stream. After months of streaming and really putting time and effort into it, I've received my first Twitch paycheck. I was so excited. It wasn't anything crazy, but the fact that I made money from Twitch wanted me to continue streaming and starting to produce more content. When I turned 16, I got a raise and I was able to work more hours in the weekdays. A few months later, after I was really putting a lot of time and effort into my YouTube channel, I finally got monetized. This meant that I could make money from YouTube ads. If you don't know what that means, basically the more people that watch my video, the more money I make from ads. I also started to do some affiliate marketing, which was a great source of passive income. A couple weeks later, COVID hit, and the only time I really went out of my house was for work. Thankfully, I was still able to work, but this left me with a lot of free time on my hands. I was home a lot, and I decided to move my setup from my bonus room to my actual room. This took a lot of convincing with my parents, and I was finally able to do it. I started to revamp my room, my setup, to make it more of a streaming room. Since I was continuing to work and save up money, I was upgrading parts of my PC, streaming gear, and more. Around this time, I started TikTok, which ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. I was consistently uploading tech content for the first few weeks. Nothing was going really crazy until a few weeks later, I got my first viral video, I guess you could say. It got over 350,000 views, and I got over 2,000 followers overnight. I was freaking out. I continued to post tech content on TikTok, producing reviews on my YouTube channel, and streaming as many days as I could. When I turned 17, this was by far the biggest year of my life. I just hit around 7,000 followers on TikTok, and I received my first company email. They wanted to send me in a product in exchange for a TikTok. This was a great way to create content and receive a product in exchange. The more and more I grew on TikTok, the more products I received, and I also had opportunities to get paid to make TikToks. My YouTube videos were doing better, and I was growing across all platforms. My setup changed drastically. I upgraded my camera, my microphone, a bunch of different streaming gear, and I was testing out a bunch of different monitor orientations, and I also got a new desk. If there's one thing in my setup that I didn't pay for, it's my beautiful desk. My desk dad custom built it for me. I helped him a little bit, but I kind of left him to do it all because I knew that he did it best. He built it with a secret cable drawer that blended in with my desk, and this was perfect for all my cable management. My stream was growing more and more, and I really started to make more money from Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm still 17, about to turn 18, and as time moved on, I really started to diversify my income. I really started to get into affiliate marketing, cutting down to only working 2 days a week so that I could focus on school, continuing to have a good social life, going to the gym, and ultimately pursuing content as my main source of income. My room and setup have progressed the most within the past year, but the money-making aspect started all the way back when I was 7. If there's one thing I've learned over the past few years, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If we go a few years back and take a look at when I was only mowing and blowing leaves for my next door neighbor, if something were to come up and I wasn't able to work for her anymore, I would have no source of income. That's why when I was 11 years old, I started to expand, picking up more job opportunities. And let's say there was a customer that I regularly mowed their lawn for, and something came up and I wasn't able to mow it anymore, I would have other customers that I could still work for and still be able to make money. The same applies for content. Let's say I have a bad month on YouTube, but I have TikTok, Twitch, and affiliate marketing. I still have another source of income if one income source is lower than it usually is. I understand that diversifying your income can be a little bit difficult when you're young, but if there's one bit of advice that you take away from this video, it's to save your money. I've had a lot of friends who spend a ton of money on shoes, clothes, and end up being broke. But if you take a percentage of every bit of money that you make and save it, you'll end up to have enough to buy something really big, such as a setup. I hope you guys went on to enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe down below for more content like this. In addition, I do stream over on Twitch, so if you'd like to catch me live, the link to that will be down below in the description. If you have any comments or questions about anything, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section or join the Discord. I'll try to reply to all of them as best as I can. Thank you again for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one.